Hello, here is a test on quadratic applications, right? So we have 4 different questions here. At present I am only showing you 3 out of those 4 questions, and you need to answer these questions. Let's try to understand these questions first. Read them carefully. The sum of two numbers is 26. Sum of their squares is a minimum. Determine the two numbers. Correct? So that means first you need to write an equation, sum of any two numbers, x plus y is equal to 26. And sum of their squares is a minimum. So define a variable. Let's say s equals to sum of their squares, which is x square plus y square. We have to prove that is minimum. Correct? So from the first equation, which is x plus y equals to 26, you can write y in terms of x and plug that value in the second equation. Then you have a quadratic equation, and then you could do completing the squares and get the answer. Is it okay? Now let's look into the next question. The hypotenuse of a right triangle is 29 centimeter. The height is one more than the base. What are the heights of the other two sides? What are the dimensions? We should have dimensions, right? Of the other two sides means of the two sides, right? That's okay. So I mean not the hypotenuse, okay? So that's not so difficult either. You can think about it and then do it. It's a hypotenuse, right? So you draw a right angle triangle and then do it. The third one is a photograph measures 24 centimeter by 20 centimeter. It is to be surrounded by a uniform border. If the total area of the picture and the frame is to be 1260 centimeter square, find the width of the border. Correct. So make a sketch. Try to do it, right? Well, we'll read the next problem later. Now, I'd like you to make a note of all the 3 problems, stop the video at present, and try to solve them on your own. Meanwhile, I'm working the solutions out. So I'm not really solving them or finding the answers, but trying to help you find answers, right? So the first one, as I said, the sum of two numbers is 26. So the numbers could be like, you see, x plus y be two numbers equals to 26. And they say sum of squares is minimum. So let's define a variable s, which is sum of squares, which is equals to x square plus y square. Correct? Since there are two variables, it's always a good idea to write one in terms of the other. So we can write from here what is y equals to. So y equals to 26 minus x. Correct? We can put it here. So sum is equals to x square plus 26 minus x whole square. Now, we have to find the sum of their squares is a minimum. So we have to find minimum for this, right? Okay. So what will happen here? We'll expand this, right? Since the leading coefficient is positive, it's a parabola like this, so we are expecting a minimum for sure. Now once you expand it, you get your quadratic equation in standard form. It is not easy to find from standard form, but you can use a formula, which is the minimum will be at minus b by 2a. Do you remember that part? So one option is, say minimum or the vertex or the axis of symmetry, let me call to be on safe side, will be at minus b by 2a, correct? What is this axis? It is axis of symmetry. And the value of the function at this point will give you the minimum, right? So that should give you the solution. Or if you don't do this method, you can do completing the squares and get the vertex. Perfect. Next problem. The hypotenuse of a right triangle is 29. So first thing is make a triangle. And then we say that the hypotenuse is 29. So this side is 29 for you. The height is one more than base. So let's say base is b and height is one more than base, b plus 1. Correct? So height is one more than base. What are the dimensions? Dimensions, we want to find base and height, right? So what you can do is very simple. You know this is right angle triangle, right? So you get b square plus b plus 1 whole square equals to 29 square. Solve for b. The mistake which people do is 29 square, they forget, and then they struggle. Okay, next problem. A photograph measures 24 centimeter by 20 centimeter. So let's make this photograph. Let's say this is like this, right? It is to be surrounded by a uniform border. If the total area, so we have a uniform border around it. Well, it doesn't look like uniform, but still what we will do is we will write x all over the place. So we'll say this is also x, this is also x. So we say this is a square, okay? Okay. Now this is with x here and x here, correct? So that's our uniform border. Now, if the total area of the picture and the frame is to be 1260, find the width of the border. So find x. So if this is x, this is x, what is the width now? Is 20 plus 2x, right? And how about the length? Is 24 plus 2x, correct? So what is the total area? Total area of the frame is, so it's right, area equals to 24 plus 2x times 20 plus 2x. So it says if total area of the picture and the frame, so also the picture. So picture area is how much? Picture is 20 by 24 times 24, correct? So you multiply these two. And then you combine the like terms and then do completing the squares and get your answer. It's not difficult at all. The last question, right? It was coming in my screen. It is not a very difficult question, but you know, I was really running out of space. Now here is question 4. The watch company has been selling 1200 watches per week at $18 each. They are planning a price increase. A survey indicates for every dollar increase, there will be a drop of 40 sales per week. Determine the price that would maximize the revenue. Okay. Now you should know what revenue is. You know what revenue is? So let me say revenues are of x, right? Revenue will be number of items sold. Number of items sold to price of item, right? Price of each item. Correct? Now here what is happening is that they were selling 1200 watches per week at $18. So initial price is 18 and sales is 1200. A survey indicates that for every dollar increase, that means if you increase by $1, sales will reduce by 40. Another dollar, 80. Third dollar, 40 times 3, 120. Do you understand? Items sold will reduce by the number times 40. So we say, well, the items sold will reduce by, items were actually sold 1200 minus 40n, where n is number of dollars which we are going to increase price by. And the price earlier was $18, right? Plus, I don't know how many dollars, right? So we'll say n times 1, which is n. So that becomes the price, correct? So this is your revenue function. You know, this will yield a parabola. And so it is having a maximum or a minimum, okay? Since the coefficient of n is negative, it is a graph which is kind of like this, right? So it should give you a maximum revenue. Well, once you do expand it, you can do completing this way, get your answer. Another way was, you can find zeros. Here the 0 is minus 18 and here the 0 is 1200 divided by 40. So 0, 0 gets cut off and 120 divided by 4 is 30. So you get something like 30 here and minus 18 there. Mid value between the two, 30 plus minus 18. Divide by 2, should give you n, which should be your right answer. Correct? Take your time, try to understand these problems. All are with different strategy. So this application has been prepared for you so that you understand different type of strategies which we learned for solving quadratic applications. Correct? So have a good look at them, review the video, and try to get the concepts of the applications. We'll soon have another test on that. Okay? Thank you.